Okay, we're live.
Okay, great. So, Erica, did you get a chance to look over that agreement?
Yes.
Okay, great. So basically what this looks like is you're going to be paid $100. Okay, it's been a few days since I finalized this, so like before I start saying things out loud, I'll just make sure I know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So $200 a week will be your base pay for completing a minimum of 500 activity points, and the activity points are broken down, they're on Schedule A. So we wanted to make it so that calling the schools are worth a little bit more than an email, and these are initial contacts. So one call is worth 1.25, so 1.25 points, and an email is worth 1 point. What I did was I backed these numbers out. They're not like made up on nothing. So I backed these out based on the amount of time, about 20 hours a week, and the amount of time that we think it takes to do each of those tasks. So any combination that you can kind of come up with, whatever is going to get you your best end result, is kind of up to you guys. And how you'll see your best end result and the opportunity to make a little bit more money is by having workshops that are completed. And in addition to the 500 activity points, the expectation is that you will book 5 workshops every week. So that can be you booked a workshop for this week, or you booked a workshop going further out. That 5 is just kind of making sure that workshops are being booked and it continues on a rolling basis. And so the opportunity to bonus is based around completed workshops. So what that means is you've set up the workshop, you have coordinated all of the logistics for that workshop, and that workshop has actually been completed. And all of these things will be logged in Salesforce, and this is a big thing. Basically, if it's not in Salesforce, it didn't happen. So I'm gonna set that precedent so that there's no confusion, that no one should be coming to me or George and saying, I did this thing, I remember doing it, but it's not in here. If it's not in there, it didn't happen, okay? And the reason is because not only is it valuable to you to be tracking, your work in order to get paid, but it's also preventing you from doing double work, and it allows continuity. So as we bring on more people, or when your internships ends, if someone else is doing the kind of work that you're doing, we don't want to be replicating contacts. So that's why Salesforce is really important. And Erica, have you guys gotten some time to actually work in Salesforce?
Yeah, we've been working on it since last week.
Great, and it's user-friendly, right? It makes sense. There's no reason that you shouldn't be logging things. Okay, cool. Great, so, and then at the bottom, we've got how you can bonus, right? And so the idea here is that, if you book a lot of workshops, you can do really well. Or if the workshops are completed, sorry. So the idea is that you need to be able to you can book something, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. And so that's why we're going to use that as your bonus structure. Does this kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Together? Okay, great. Do you think that it's fair based on what you're working on? Do you have any feedback on the numbers themselves?
The numbers look fine. I just had a couple questions after. Okay.
Yeah.
So non-automated email, that does not include the initial mass send out that we have.
Right.
Okay. And how will we deal with an OL or fall canceling? Because I know before when a CC was in charge of it, they would have to go, but now like we're doing cities all over the place.
Sure. So we have to create a virtual team, and George, I know that that's something that you've been thinking about and potentially working on, right? Yes. So, I mean, it can't be George right now or starting next week, because he's going to be on the move consistently. So what we need to do is we need to have some, what are we calling workshop leaders now? We're calling
financial aid workshop leaders.
Okay. So we have to have a few trained that are good on screen that can do these virtually, so that, you know, in that case, you've booked a workshop and you want to make sure that that workshop gets completed so you can reach your bonus. So you'll say, you know, you'll maybe have a few people that you can reach out to, and that's going to be kind of Georgia's, I think. That's something that you're owning, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll create a team of accessible people. And I mean, theoretically, I guess that would be like in this moment, something that you could do, but yourself, Erica, but I don't think that that's like the long-term goal.
Are there any weekly meetings?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
are
George,
those set already, or will they be outside of the normal meetings?
Did we agree on the CTs joining the pipeline meetings?
Yes. And so ultimately, does that make the most sense to you, 2 times a week, George?
Yeah.
Okay. And so ultimately George, you'll be leading those in the coming weeks. You should be like picking that up from Ryan.
All right.
Okay. What else?
Since this is all activity-based, there is no hour or set schedule requirement. Like we don't have to block out a certain time each day,
right,
or something. Okay.
So what that means is like you need to be making phone calls. So like you're gonna have to do that certain days. But what this also means is that if you get super efficient and you can complete your 500 activity points in 10 hours versus 20 hours, I don't care. That's great. Like wonderful. So the idea is to kind of like create a place where you can be creative about your time and make it as efficient as possible, because we want to compensate you based on the product of your work versus the amount of time you're sitting in front of a computer. And, you know, you might want to work more because you might find that if you're booking those workshops, you know, there's not, you know, there is an expectation around answering emails in a timely manner, and joining those weekly meetings.
Okay. And also, I am not expecting to stay in next gen for the full fall semester.
Okay.
So would we be able to make a contract for half the semester?
Okay, yeah. If you could email me what your expected dates are.
Okay.
So that I can update your letter with the correct information. I mean, ultimately, we ask for that full semester commitment, and the reason is because we're taking the time to kind of invest in you by training you to do this specific thing. So that's kind of why that expectation is there. But if you could just, like I said, email me after this call what your expected dates are, and then we can come up with a plan that hopefully, you know, you'll train your replacement.
Okay.
But, you know, you can kind of like pay that forward.
Yeah, that's all my questions.
Okay. George, do you have any questions?
Not that I can think of right now, but I'll be sure to ask you in a follow-up email if anything comes up. But this is all pretty self-explanatory. I agree with everything that's being said here.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks solid to me.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that for Madeline, you know, obviously you can share this with her, but I just want to be really clear around the expectations for goes to one of our like core values of like, don't be an asshole. Like if it was just me and Madeline on this call, I've like not taken other meetings at this time. I haven't eaten today. So I'm like, was waiting to like get something to eat till we have this call. we need to like make sure that we are where we say we're going to be, especially if we're going to be coordinating logistics. I don't know if I wonder if it was a time zone thing, because I know she's in Central Time. So we also, since we are a national team and George are going to be all over the world, we want to be very kind of clear, although you send a calendar invite, so it would have the right time zone. But you and I, as we communicate, should get in the habit of always like not just saying a time, like including time zone, because you're going to be in different time zones. So that's pretty important.
Okay. One question just popped in my head. So in Salesforce, how familiar are you with the program? Like, have you used it?
Not in a long time, but I've used a lot of databases. So you have a very specific question?
It's a very specific one. So like, if you were to book a workshop, you have to put all the information, like when you close the deal and when the expected workshop should take place. There's no time zone option. Should we work in Eastern time or local time?
It should all be local.
Local? Okay.
Make sure. I would ask Ryan that question, like what the integration is, because yeah, I would do local, because when you're communicating with the schools, that's the language that they're going to speak. But you need to this is going to be like kind of a challenge for you, because you need to make sure that like your calendars are synced correctly.
Yeah, because I know the calendars sync according to each user. So if mine is 1 p.m., the next time zone over will be 11. I mean 12.
Okay. Right. Yeah. But if you have, I don't know. I ask Ryan what he thinks about that. But my intuition is to say go with local time.
Okay. I'm asking because like that information isn't really passed on to them. It's more of like our own records, because that's why we're using Salesforce. So like I wasn't.
That information isn't passed on. But then how would you check if you were to if you wanted to pull up a record and you wanted to say, oh yeah, you have a workshop scheduled at whatever date and time, where would that information be on Salesforce?
Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah. So Salesforce is not just like a record of like our own. I mean, it is, but the idea is that like we used to work with that like huge Google sheet that was super unwieldy and all over that, like so many little pieces of information that if you had a conversation with somebody, you had to scroll all the way over. What Salesforce not only is going to be able to support your ability to like do your work faster, but it's also going to be able to be like, oh, okay, I'm on the phone with the school. Oh, you scheduled this then, and it needs to be as accurate. I mean, it needs to be 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of money on this system, and if it doesn't work for us, it's because we're doing it wrong, not the other end, right? Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's about it.
Great. Good luck on your driving test.
I'm excited.
You better pass.
Yeah. I'm just scared of the rain, but I'm pretty sure I'll do well.
Is it raining?
I'm sorry?
Has it been storming?
Yeah, lately it has.
Yeah, I was in Miami this weekend, and I left on Sunday, and our flight was delayed because it was raining all day.
Yeah, it was pouring like crazy yesterday, and this morning I woke up to like little thunder. I'm like, oh, okay. Please don't be like this in the afternoon.
All right, well, good luck. It was good to see you guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye.